They saw your message. They chose not to reply. Let that sentence sink in for a moment. It is perhaps the most defining sentence of modern romance, modern friendship, and modern anxiety. We live in an era of unprecedented connection, where we can reach anyone, anywhere, instantly. And yet, this accessibility has birthed a new, uniquely digital form of torture. The read receipt, the seen status, the double blue ticks. It starts innocently enough. You send a text. Maybe it's a joke, a question, a vulnerable admission, or just a simple hey. You see the status change to delivered. You wait. Then, the moment of truth. Seen at 9:42 p.m. Great. They've seen it. Now comes the reply. You watch the screen. Maybe you see the 3 typing dots dance for a second, a digital heartbeat that suggests presence. Then, they disappear, and then nothing. Silence. Ten minutes pass. You tell yourself they're just finishing up a task. An hour passes. You tell yourself they got distracted. 3 hours pass. The doubt begins to creep in. Did I say something wrong? Was I too aggressive? Are they annoyed with me? By the time 12 hours have passed, the silence has transformed into a heavy, suffocating weight on your chest. Whatever you were doing, working, eating, trying to sleep, is now background noise. The foreground of your mind is occupied entirely by the lack of a notification. Why does this hurt so much? Why does a lack of digital pixels cause physical distress? Why does being left on read feel less like a pause in conversation and more like a profound rejection of your existence? To understand this, we have to look beneath the surface of the screen. We have to peel back the layers of technology to look at the raw, primal psychology of human belonging. Because this isn't about technology, it's about survival. Deep in our evolutionary history, silence was dangerous. For our ancestors, belonging to the tribe was the difference between life and death. If the tribe ignored you, if they turned their backs on you, it meant you were being ostracized. And in the wild, an ostracized human was a dead human. We are hardwired, biologically and neurologically, to detect shifts in social feedback. We are hypersensitive to the slightest hint of exclusion. When you send a message and it is read but ignored, your brain does not process this as a minor technological inconvenience. It processes it as a micro-rejection. Neuroscientists have discovered that the same parts of the brain that light up when we experience physical pain, the anterior cingulate cortex, also light up when we experience social rejection. Think about that. To your brain, the pain of a broken bone and the pain of a broken social connection share the same neural circuitry. So when you feel a pang in your chest or a knot in your stomach after being left on read, you aren't being dramatic. You are experiencing a visceral, evolutionary response to the threat of abandonment. But the digital age has weaponized this evolutionary trait. In the past, communication had natural latency. You sent a letter, you expected weeks of silence. You left a voicemail on a landline. You knew they wouldn't hear it until they got home. There was a buffer zone of plausible deniability. You could always assume they just hadn't received the message yet. Social media and instant messaging have destroyed that buffer. The read receipt stripped away the comforting lie that maybe they didn't see it. Now, you know they saw it. You know exactly when they saw it. And you know that in the time since they saw it, they have likely posted a story, liked a meme, or been active online. This knowledge creates a specific type of psychological agony called ambiguous loss. It's not a clear rejection. They haven't said, "I don't like you, go away." If they did, you could grieve and move on. Instead, it is a non-answer. It is a suspension of reality. The door isn't closed, but it isn't open either. You are left standing on the threshold, waiting for permission to enter, and the person inside knows you are there but refuses to acknowledge you. This ambiguity triggers a cognitive loop known as the Zeigarnik Effect. In psychology, the Zeigarnik Effect states that people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. Our brains hate open loops. We crave closure. A conversation that ends with a goodbye is a closed loop. Your brain can file it away. But a message left on read is an open loop. It is an unresolved chord in a melody. Your brain keeps circling back to it, trying to solve the puzzle, trying to close the loop. Why didn't they reply? Are they busy? Are they playing hard to get? Are they mad? You reread your own message, analyzing the tone. Was that emoji too much? Should I have used a period instead of an exclamation point? You become a forensic analyst of your own humiliation. And here is where the power dynamic shifts. In any social exchange, the person who is less invested has the most power. This is the principle of least interest. When you are the one waiting for a text, you are in the position of high investment. You are the one expending emotional energy. The person who left you on read, they are holding all the cards. Their silence forces you to think about them, while they arguably aren't thinking about you at all. This imbalance creates an addictive cycle. It's called intermittent reinforcement. If someone replied to you instantly every single time, it would be nice, but it wouldn't be thrilling. But when their replies are inconsistent, when sometimes they reply instantly, and sometimes they leave you on read for 6 hours, your brain gets hooked. It's the same psychology behind slot machines. You pull the lever, send the text. Sometimes you get a reward, a reply. Sometimes you get nothing, silence. Because you don't know when the reward is coming, your dopamine spikes in anticipation. You check your phone not because you are happy, but because you are addicted to the potential relief of the anxiety they caused. But let's flip the script for a moment. Let's look at the psychology of the person who leaves you on read. It is easy to villainize them. It is easy to assume they are calculated, manipulative, or cold. And sure, sometimes that is true. Sometimes, silence is a power move. It is a way to keep you on a leash, to make sure you know your place in the hierarchy of their attention. But more often than not, the reality is far less malicious and far more exhausting. We are living in an economy of attention that is completely bankrupt. Think about the sheer volume of inputs the average person receives in a day. Emails, Slack notifications, Instagram DMs, TikTok comments, WhatsApp groups, news alerts, Tinder matches. Every single one of these is a demand. Every ping is a tiny hand reaching out, grabbing a piece of your brain, asking for something. Look at me. Respond to me. Validate me. For many people, leaving you on read isn't an act of rejection. It is an act of overwhelmed paralysis. Psychologists call this compassion fatigue or digital burnout. A person sees your message. They care about you. They want to reply. But to reply requires emotional energy they simply do not have in that moment. They think, I'll reply to this later when I can give it a thoughtful answer. They open the message to clear the notification badge because the red dot stresses them out. But once the notification is gone, the reminder is gone. The object permanence of the conversation fades. They scroll away, they get distracted by the next shiny algorithm, and your message sinks into the abyss of the mentally replied but didn't actually type it pile. To them, it's a mistake. To you, it's a statement. There is also the phenomenon of avoidant attachment. For people with an avoidant attachment style, intimacy and demand feel like suffocation. When they see a message that requires emotional vulnerability or engagement, their instinct is to withdraw. The read, receipt without a reply is their way of taking a step back, of creating a safety buffer. They aren't trying to hurt you. They are trying to protect their own sense of autonomy. However, Understanding their reasons doesn't necessarily take away your pain, because regardless of their intent, the impact on you is real. This brings us to a difficult truth about modern self-worth. Why does your emotional stability hinge on a response from this one person? Why does their silence have the power to ruin your day? It's because we have outsourced our validation to our devices. We have begun to equate responsiveness with respect. We have conflated speed of reply with depth of love. If they reply fast, I matter. If they reply slow, I am worthless. This equation is dangerous. It places the keys to your happiness in someone else's pocket, someone who might just be busy, tired, or forgetful. We also have to confront this spotlight effect. We tend to believe we are the main character in everyone else's life. When we send a text, we assume the recipient is sitting there, thinking about us, and making a conscious, deliberate choice to ignore us. We imagine them laughing at our message or rolling their eyes. But the brutal, liberating truth is, they probably aren't thinking about you that much at all. They are thinking about their boss yelling at them. They are thinking about their rent. They are thinking about what to eat for dinner. They are thinking about their own insecurity regarding someone else who left them on read. You are a chaotic variable in their chaotic life, not the protagonist of their story. So, how do we break free from the tyranny of the read receipt? How do we stop the micro-rejection from ruining our day? It requires a radical shift in perspective. It requires reclaiming what psychologists call an internal locus of control. Right now, if you are agonizing over a non-reply, your locus of control is external. You are waiting for an outside event, the text back, to determine your internal state, peace. You have given your power away. To take it back, you must accept silence as an answer in itself. This is the hardest pill to swallow. Sometimes people are busy, but sometimes they just aren't that into you. And that is okay. If someone consistently leaves you on read, if they make you feel like a chore, if they leave you in a state of constant anxiety, that is the message. The silence is the text. The lack of effort is the answer. You are reading between the lines, trying to find a hidden meaning that gives you hope when the meaning is right there on the surface. They are not prioritizing you. And here is where the sunk cost fallacy kicks in. You feel like you've invested so much time waiting, checking, and analyzing that you need a payout. You need them to reply to justify the emotional energy you've wasted. So you double text. You send a meme to bump the conversation. You try to be funnier, lighter, more interesting. You are auditioning for a role that has already been cast. Stop. Put the phone down. Realize that your dignity is worth more than their dopamine hit. There is a profound freedom in deciding that you do not need to be responded to in order to exist. You are not a packet of data waiting to be acknowledged. You are a complete human being with a life that exists outside the glowing rectangle in your hand. When you feel the anxiety of the read, receipt rising, try to practice cognitive reframing. Instead of thinking, they are ignoring me because I am boring, try thinking, they are currently unable to engage, and I am going to use this time to do something for myself. Turn the silence into solitude. The person who doesn't reply has actually given you a gift. They have given you your time back. They have released you from the obligation of continuing a conversation that might not even be that fulfilling. Think about the conversations you are so desperate to have. Are they deep? Are they life-changing? Or are they just maintenance? Are you chasing the connection? Or are you just chasing the validation of being seen? There is a concept called matches versus sparks. A match is just data, two people connecting. A spark is energy. A spark doesn't need to be forced. If you have to constantly drag the conversation uphill, if you have to analyze every silence, there is no spark. There is just friction. We also need to reevaluate our own relationship with accessibility. We feel entitled to people's time. We feel that because we can reach them instantly, we should get a response instantly. But no one owes you their immediate attention. Just because you sent a message doesn't mean you served a subpoena. We need to normalize slow communication. We need to normalize the idea that someone can read a message, process it, and reply hours or even days later without it being a declaration of war. True intimacy is not built on the speed of a reply. It is built on the quality of the presence. Think about the people in your life who truly love you, the ones who would be there in a crisis. Do you track their response times? Do you panic if they don't heart your meme? Probably not. Because the relationship is secure. You have object constancy, the knowing that the bond exists even when the interaction isn't happening. The anxiety of being left on read is often a symptom of an insecure relationship, not the cause of it. You are anxious because, on some level, you know the connection is fragile. You are using the text thread as a heart monitor, checking constantly to see if the relationship is still alive. If you have to check the pulse that often, the patient is already in trouble. So what is the antidote? It is returning to the physical world. The digital world is designed to make you feel incomplete. It is designed to keep you in a state of wanting. When you put the phone away and engage with reality, when you cook a meal, walk in the park, talk to a stranger, read a book, you remember that you are real. Your worth is not determined by a timestamp. Your value is not negotiable. The next time you are left on read, don't send a follow-up. Don't check their last scene. Don't post a story just to see if they view it. Let the silence sit. Feel the discomfort of it. It will burn for a moment. It will feel like rejection. But if you sit with it long enough, the burning stops. And in its place, you will find a quiet, steady strength. You will realize that their silence reflects their capacity, not your worth. You will realize that you don't want to be with someone who makes you feel like you are begging for scraps of attention. And eventually, you will stop waiting. You will put your phone in your pocket, look up at the world, and realize that the only person you were truly waiting for was yourself. Because in a world of constant noise, of endless notifications and performative connections, the most powerful thing you can do is not to demand attention, but to be content without it. Let them read it. Let them not reply. You have better things to do than wait. You have a life to live, and that life is happening right now, not in the archive of a chat history, but in the air you breathe and the space you occupy. Don't let a micro-rejection become a macro-obsession. The text didn't come. The sun still rose. You are still here. And that is enough.